Yo to the people in the chat. All right. What is going on, socialites? Welcome to a special podcast featuring yours truly, Ryan, the commissioner, head coach, your Boston Braviaries. Joined with me, Vlad, head coach, the Chicago Slow Kings. What's up, Vlad?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good to have you on. Been a while. Been a while, I think, since we've been able to talk about anything.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm glad to be here for the first time, honestly.
Yeah, awesome. We
Thank you for
also
having me.
have Juliana, head coach of the Seattle Shiny Sylveons. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good to have you on again. Should we talk about our beef now, or should we wait till after we introduce our last guest?
Don't do it now. Wait until you introduce.
Okay. She wants to wait. She wants to let the beef stew a bit. Keep it on the grill. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's gonna get pretty charred by the end of this. But last but not least, we might have someone else hop on. Waiting for Chris, aka Chris Elanius. Also, since I name dropped him, Vlad, why don't you name drop your channel as well?
My channel is Mr. Vlad the Man.
Mr. Mr. Vlad the Man, just all one word. You can find him on YouTube. He's been uploading his matches. Definitely some good stuff there. Check him out. So the chat wants the beef, but you gotta wait, okay? The lady said you have to wait. But with us now is Dave, head coach of Reno Weezings. How's it going, Dave?
Going pretty well, Ryan. Thank you.
Good. I think it's been since season 4, maybe, since you were last on a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you made any guest appearances since then, but
nope.
Yeah, good to have you
back. Been a long ways.
Yeah, good to have you back in the league, Dave. Always fun stuff, and we're gonna hop right into how your team and all the teams are doing, but you definitely haven't missed a beat since you were running the South Division last time you were here, back-to-back division champion. So let's hop right into it. We're going to talk about the first couple weeks of the season and go over free agent moves that were just made yesterday. So here we see the one of the new teams up at the top, the minor league champion, the Simiwini Sears, 2-0, 19 points. Then we got, of course, a couple teams that are always there. The Boston Braviaries and the Denver Ninetales, both 2-0 with 16 points, vying for that second place spot. Vero Beach starting off hot with 11 points, 2-0. Black City Zekroms and the Reno Weezings, both 2-0 with 9 points. Yes, Dave, I know what you want to say, but we're just talking about the first 2 weeks, okay? All right? Dave already wants to say that he's 3-0 and has just as many points now, but... So, Dave, there's your team, Reno Weezings. How do you feel about where you are to start the season?
I feel like I'm experiencing a case of, like, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome. I feel like, especially the first match against
Kevin?
Kevin.
Was it Kevin? Yeah.
It felt like a fluke in a way. But it's fun. It's fun.
For those who might remember from our team recap, Dave's team is a Sun team. He's got the Torkoal. He's been using Ceruledge. He's got the Scovillain. He's trying to get some photosynthesis mons. I'm telling him no. I'm telling him I'm not giving him the Slitherwing to make his team freaking unbeatable. But yeah, the Sun is doing well for you for sure. Next up, we got another person on the podcast here, Vlad's team, the Chicago Slow Kings, our last 2-0 team. How do you feel starting this season off 2-0, Vlad?
Honestly, pretty good. Definitely better than the last season with doubles, that's for sure. But singles has always been my forte.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do believe... I forget if you went undefeated, but I remember you were the number 1 seed when you were in the minor leagues last time we did singles. And then, of course, last season was your first season in the major leagues, and that was a doubles season. So, yeah, kind of like you said, kind of going back to your stronger suit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very good. All right, going to scroll down just a little bit here. Look at some of our 1-1 teams. We got the other Chicago team, the Scrafties there, 1-1. Got a pretty solid differential, though. Charm City Charizards also 1-1. Dave, I told you I wasn't going to bring up any matches here, but did anyone watch the match I posted today? With Charm City and Waco?
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
That was another hair pulling out one. There's been a couple matches where I just pull my hair out watching it. Like, why are you letting the T-Spike sit there?
Yeah,
you got like 10 times you could have brought Great Tuscan and just done away with them.
I put a lot of effort into making sure he didn't get hazards up on my team.
Yeah, that's definitely one of Waco's benefits. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but still 1-1, positive differential. I mean, that's all you want if you're going to be 1-1. Same thing with Memphis, also 1-1. Juliana, the Seattle Shiny Sylveon's right there, smack in the middle, 1-1, 0 differential. How do you feel, though, so far after the first couple weeks?
I actually feel my ranking doesn't show it very much, but I feel good considering I came from the minors and I've learned a lot in the first 2 weeks. So,
Yeah. Hey, season is still young. We're 2 weeks out of 10 in, so there's still a lot of Pokemon to be played here, but definitely some good stuff. At least you're not, some of these other teams we're gonna get to. They just keep going down. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Another 1-1 team here. We got the Phoenix Primals. They got their first win last week. Moving back up there, and the Waco Scizors got their first win as well. 1-1. Both of them with a -3 differential. So now we got our 0-2 teams here. So Driftvale City Dragapults, they're actually not too bad of a position, even though 0-2, at least they have taken a game in both of them. So if they can start winning some games, their tiebreakers will be pretty good. So, hey, if you're going to take a loss, at least take a game from it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the Oklahoma Thunderous, who have been playing some close games despite being 0-2. Then it just kind of drops off a cliff after that. We see the differentials going into the double digits there. Paris Saint-Germain, Pittsburgh, Lavertown. Those are all teams we usually see doing very well in the season. Vlad, what are your thoughts on seeing those three teams starting off 0-2 with such big differentials?
It's a little surprising. Tokyo's team, at least before all the swaps were made, was a little bit on the confusing side. Yeah. I didn't personally agree with the choices, but I also wasn't at the draft.
I think that was, as you said, like when you weren't at the draft, she also wasn't. And she gave someone a list of what to draft, and they literally just went off the list. And like you gotta veer where the draft is going. Yeah, you can't just take.
And if I remember correctly, she was like somewhere in the middle as well. So like pickings were slimming down real fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a little surprising seeing these heavy hitters, or usually heavy hitters, down at the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. But again, as we said, season's still young. Who knows? They might rack off 8 wins in a row and be there at the end. We don't know yet. And bringing up the rear is the Florida for Alligators, 0-2. They start off their first 2 games against yours truly and the team that's at the top, the Simi-Winnie Sears. So they had to go against a couple of the bigger hitters so far early in the season. So, Julian, I want your thoughts because I find you're very opinionated, and I value your opinions, or at least they rile me up enough that, I guess there's some value to them. If I'm affected by them, I must value them, right? So, of the 2-0 teams, give me one that you think is a contender and one you think is a pretender of the 2-0 teams.
What do you mean for like first spot or?
So like all the 2-0 teams, right? So we got like these first like 7. Just tell me one that you're like, okay, this one's gonna just keep going, probably most likely to go undefeated. Like, this is the threat. And then give me one where you're like, they start off 2-0, but if they end up 5-5 at the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised. So give me a contender and give me a pretender.
I know what you're probably gonna think I'm gonna say, but I actually do think Reno is a contender for sure.
Ooh.
I mean, scary team.
Going against what Dave himself said about his team. Okay, interesting.
And then pretender, maybe.
You gotta be mean to somebody.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's hard to say because I almost want to say Ed from Veer Beach, but he always does so good during the season. So I might say like Slowkings, maybe.
Ooh, Vlad. Ooh, do you want to defend that?
I mean, I'll have to defend it whenever I actually match up against her.
Because you're at the bottom there. Oh, are you guys playing this week?
Not this week.
Okay,
but maybe in the finals.
Oh, in the oh, dang. That's praise for.
Yeah, that's praise for me. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Well, you got to remember, if you win, it's all your own skill and ability. But if you lose, it's Kevin's fault.
All right. So now, Dave, I'm going to ask you the same question, but I'm going to ask you about the 1-1 teams. Give me one of these teams. Like, they're all 1-1, so they're kind of wishy-washy. Give me one that you think can turn their season around real quick, or one that's going to have it slip away.
I think. Oh.
And don't just be nice to Juliana over here because she said you were a contender.
No, I was gonna say Primals because I mean, he was saying it in his the video he made. Like, he lost the first game, but then he went like undefeated for the rest of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happens. And as for like a pretender, you hate throwing shade, but after seeing like some of the choices Charm City made in the Waco fight,
that was harsh. Yeah. That was a harsh game. It's all fresh on our minds because it was posted today. But yeah, that was
true. That's true.
That was a tough one for sure. I've already scolded him about some things, so I'll give him some pointers. But all right, and Vlad, how about you do the 0-2 teams here? Give me one that you think can turn their season around quickly and make a run at a top spot, and one that's like, well, better luck next year. Just don't be the last place team.
Yeah, I'm going to remain pretty hopeful. I do think that the changes that Tokyo made are going to make her a contender here.
Ooh, okay.
I think that they're really going to be able to turn the entire season around now that they've found what they want a little bit more in a team than what they were given. For a pretender, probably going to have to say maybe the Gengars, only because I don't see where that team synergy is going to land. And that's going to be a little bit of a challenge moving forward if they decide to keep what they've got.
Yeah. All right. I hear. Son, it would warm my heart greatly. She is my cousin, but she is also a former champion. To see Tokyo rise back up as a playoff contained team, because ever since her championship, I think she's been resting on her laurels a little bit. Hasn't had the strongest season since that championship in season 5. So I'd love to see her turn around here. All right. Let's take a look real quick at our top 10 performing Pokemon. Just see who's doing well here. I'm going to just hide our faces real quick just so people can see this. Dragapult having a huge season here so far. 13 KOs. Heracross doing really well. Chimpao, of course. So maybe Chimpao and Dragapult you expect up there, but Heracross had a really big game last week. Dave, there's a couple of your team players there. Sarah Legend, Scovillain. We got 3 Braviaries up here as well. Iron Tread, Slitherwing, and Raichu. And then we see Iron Jugulus, which had a really big game last week, and Fortress, which had a monster game last week too, throwing up there. I don't know how long Fortress is going to stay on here, and I mean, obviously Raichu will fall off because it's a Pokemon I'm not going to bring every week, but Vlad, what do you think? Are any of these Pokemon going to be in the running for the MVP by the end of the season? Like, they're all starting off pretty hot.
I mean, the obvious choices are going to be Dragapult, Chimpao, just because they're already so strong just in general. But I wouldn't be surprised if Heracross maybe ends up being top of the bracket this year.
Ooh,
or this season, I should say.
All right, bold
But
claim.
I will admit, though, that Fortress came out of nowhere.
Well, it did go up against the Dark team with no fire attacks, but yeah. the perfect combo for body press, Iron Defense Fortress, or whatever was going on there for sure. All right, so let's hop into the free agent moves. Let's see what some teams did. So Black City didn't make any, which for those who follow the league is pretty surprising for a Black City team. They usually make a bunch of moves, but they're 2-0. Not like they're in a rush to make anything, so I don't mind them standing pat. What do you think, Dave, about no moves from Black City as transactions open up here? Do you like it, or do you feel like they should have made some moves?
I say this as someone who's not really looked into his team like at all, but I don't know what a molo does.
It's just a
Like
bulky water
whole
regenerator.
Okay.
Really good HP with Wish and really good defense, shitty special defense, but
well, I mean, Cerulege is really good, and Armarouge being a B tier, just a tier below, they're similar and powerful, and I think it's a good team. I don't think there's any big changes that are necessary. Doing well.
Yeah. Well, neither did he. Another team that didn't make any changes is yours truly. Again, 2-0. No need to do anything too crazy, and it's all listen, championship secret here, teams. I make my free agent moves based on teams I think are going to be there at the end. So I usually wait a little bit. I see like, okay, who is going to be in my path here, and what Pokemon or strategies do I need to beat them in the playoffs? So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to see how the landscape shapes, and then I'm going to get the team I need to run at another trophy. Charm City didn't make any moves. Now, what do you think about that, Vlad? Should Charm City have tried to make some moves, or can they stand pat for a little bit?
I mean, I think that waiting a little bit longer to make any moves is probably a smart idea right now.
I still think they got like a good team, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They just didn't know to click Rapid Spin for a whole game.
Once they figure out the power of Rapid Spin, I'm sure that things will clean up real quick.
Yeah. Or they could have just thrown Flamethrower on Gengar.
Yeah,
instead of having
that could have worked.
Terra. Like, the Terrifier didn't even do anything because they were Focus Sash anyway. Every time the Bullet Punch was coming out, well, you would have lived anyway. So. Like, and you're just going to die to whatever next hit comes out. So just have the Flamethrower. Then you can swap out and absorb the T-Spikes when you come back in the next time. But since they wanted to Terra, anyway, I said we want to talk about matches. We're not talking about matches. All right, the Scrafties, though, they made a swap here. They got rid of Toxtricity for another electric type, but this one has no weaknesses because it has Levitate, E-Electros. Juliana, what do you think about this? Getting rid of the straight power of Toxtricity and going for more of a slow, but, ground immunity electric type.
Well, I'm a stickler for like defensive coverage, so I enjoy more of like a synergy team where like you can switch up pretty easily, or you can kind of take a hit versus having just straight offensive, because it doesn't always work for the best when you're just straight offensive.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you. And as you saw, they have no flying types or ground immunity, and ground is a pretty common, thing, especially against Chi-Yu. A lot of teams might want to be going for ground attack. So yeah, at least it's something. Electros speed is lacking, but it can definitely hit hard, and it does get opportunities to try and get off some attacks. Vlad, you didn't make any moves, so you're again 2-0. So no rush, but you're happy with your team so far?
Yeah, and I'm pretty happy overall. I'm actually going to be putting in Flareon here the next match.
Ooh.
Got some things I've been working on with that, and then I'm thinking about making some moves maybe next week. But for now, I'm pretty happy with what I got.
Very nice, very nice. All right, here we got the Denver Ninetales. Again, they're 2-0. They haven't made any moves. Very solid team. Not too much to say about that. Dude, I don't know, unless anybody wants to say something, but we need to see the cloth get in there. That's all we need. We need to see cloth get in the game.
I love cloth. I want to see it.
It can definitely do some stuff. It's just
very
it needs to be the
stuff.
right game. It needs to be the right sort of stuff.
There's not a lot of rock types running around, so
no, there definitely isn't. Definitely isn't. All right, Driftville City Dragapult. So they dropped Dracloak, who was definitely odd draft choice. Not really an odd draft choice, but they did kind of draft it early. It was their first seed tier that they picked, and now they're picking up Delibird, which is also kind of a odd free agency choice. Dave, what do you think about Driftvale's change? How do you like it? Does it make their team better, or do you feel like they're still sitting there at 0-2?
What does Delibird do? Does it do other than be immune to like ground?
I think
I always thought it was like
can do
just
spikes.
the joke Santa Pokemon. What does it do?
Spikes.
I'm totally be wrong.
Gets spikes. Vital Spirit. So if you need a Moongus,
it also
Destiny Bond.
It also does get chilling water as well.
Yeah, but I mean your defenses are all crap. I don't care if you're lowering my attack. I'm still gonna kill you. I don't know.
To be fair though, there were like very few C picks available left.
It gets some good utility moves. It gets Rapid Spin. It gets Destiny Bond. It gets I said, spikes. Pretty sure. So yeah, it gets spikes. So you can do some stuff with it. Yeah. I mean it's C tier. No one expects it to be the best, but it's gonna be Delibird, right? Like at the end of the day, do we really expect him to bring it to every match or even half the matches? All right, next we got the Florida Feraligators, who made a couple moves here. They dropped Grafai and Spiritomb and picked up Bramblegast and Lycanroc Midnight. Vlad,
where's the Tailwind? I'm sorry.
Oh, yep, Bramblegast gets access to Tailwind. I mean, I don't mind it. Oh,
I didn't know it gets Tailwind. I thought.
I'm pretty sure it gets Tailwind. I can double check that with you. But Wind Power, or whatever it's called, because its ability is different than Kilowattrel's. But if it makes it immune to wind moves as well. Wind Rider, that's its ability. Wind Rider makes it immune to them. Oh yeah, so yeah, it doesn't get Tailwind itself. You're right, Dave. But it still makes it immune to stuff like Hurricane, Blizzard, Heat Wave. So those are all attacks that Bramblegast is happy to be immune to. Or you can just run Infiltrator and not have to worry about substitutes or screens. Get some, gets Power Whip, gets Shadow Sneak, gets Rapid Spin. So you can definitely do quite a bit. Vlad, what do you think about the moves for the Feraligators? Right now they're sitting at the bottom of the rung. Do you think this is going to help them to climb back up a bit?
I mean, Bramblegast is a pretty good choice. I think that'll definitely help in maybe some specific situations. I'm not so sure about Lycanroc Midnight. Uh,
It's a
uh,
solid Scarfer just because with no guard, you just click Stone Edge.
mm-hmm.
So it's a solid like choice Scarf with Stone Edge. Just if you don't got like a steel or bulky ground type, then it's going to do big damage to whatever comes in.
Yeah, nothing's going to want to take it, but I think it'll be. I think it's an interesting choices.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can pick up a few wins here.
Yeah. I'm still not a fan of Umbreon. Probably by the next time we do singles, Umbreon will be a B tier. It was like kind of borderline, but as we're gonna get more and more Pokemon, it's gonna keep dropping down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, without stuff like Toxic and all that, like Umbreon's not what he used to be as far as like a wall can do. Big changes here on the Lavertown Gengars. The dark type gym leader got rid of all of their dark types except for their S tier. Picking up Slowbro and Frostlass from free agency and trading away Lucario to get Sylveon from the Tokyo Togekiss. So, Julian, what do you think about the LTG here? Can they turn it around since starting 0-2?
I feel like if they make good choices in the actual matches, they could. I am fighting against
But we
them this
don't have
week.
faith in that, right? It's Alex. we don't have faith in good choices in actual matches. I hear you.
Yeah, but I am fighting against them this week. Their defensive coverage is way better now because I was having a little bit of worrisome.
Yeah, okay,
But,
so they get swept by Body Press Fortress, right? So look what they had: fighting resist, fighting immunity, fighting resist.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm done with that.
So
Yeah,
I feel
but,
like they could pick up a couple for sure.
Yeah, well, they got rid of their glaring weakness, right? Is that their whole team was half dark types, and Bisharp and Lucario did the same thing. I'm surprised they got rid of both of them, Bisharp and Lucario, because I do still think having a priority user is pretty good. And now, like, your best priority user is going to be Frostlass Ice Shard, which isn't like the best to write home about. And Donphan can also learn Ice Shard, but again, that's not what you want Donphan to do.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised on the Lucario trade. I was not expecting that.
Memphis staying pat. They're 1-1, but they have a very solid team. Dave, what do you think about Memphis? They're in your division, so maybe you took a look at their team, or maybe not. But what do you think about them staying with the team they got so far?
I think it's solid and definitely something I'm going to have trouble against whenever I fight them because the sun is going to help them out a lot too.
True. Yeah, they got chlorophyll, they got fire types, they got photosynthesis.
I mean, I actually battled them last week, and even without the sun, they were a menace. I had to sack almost everything that I wanted to switch out of because there was just nothing that wanted to take a hit from anything.
Yeah, very offensive team for sure. Don't want to switch into much of what they got going on. But also got some decent bulk too. So Oklahoma Thunderous doing a trade here with yours truly right here, Seattle Shiny Sylveon. So maybe I shouldn't ask her opinion on this trade because she'll say that she swindled him, but trading away Altaria to get Murkrow. So, Vlad, what do you think about that trade and how it helps Oklahoma's team?
Ooh, I mean, Murkrow is a fun choice in general. That Prankster Tailwind and then all the other utility that Murkrow brings is a lot of fun. I'm personally a huge fan of Prankster as an ability, but I don't know. I almost prefer Altaria's defensive prowess.
Yeah.
Over Murkrow's
get so much
utility in this instance.
Too.
Oh yeah.
Coverage is crazy.
Oh yeah. But Murkrow isn't a terrible Pokemon by any stretch. I think it'll help for sure.
Yeah, one of the main reasons he said that he wanted to pick it up is because he was using Dondozo as his range setter to help Barraskewda, so now he can use Murkrow for that more reliable range setter with the Prankster. So we'll see how that works out. Paris Saint-Germain doing what PSG does, just staying with all their things. You know, that's just a PSG thing to do. Keep all their team the same and always bring the same 6 to every match. But Dave, what do you think? Should PSG make some changes here, or can they break out of the 0-2 basement right now?
I don't see what the net does. But again, I'm just saying these things like without really knowing much about the Pokemon. All I know is that it's like a physical ghost type, and
Yeah.
physical ghost moves are kind of lacking.
Yeah.
But otherwise, PSG like always drafts some of my favorite Pokemon, and like I always like big respect to their teams because I like slow boys. I like Glimmer is one of my favorite new Pokemon they had in this gen, and if it weren't S tier, I might have picked it up or
Yeah,
something
thought
like
about
that.
it.
But
Yeah.
I think the tough thing is Trick Room. Just I learned that in season 3, Trick Room is just not that great for singles.
Yeah. Especially in Draft League because it's kind of obvious. Like you don't
Yeah,
get the surprise factor as much.
sure.
But yeah, I mean if PSG ends up playing against Charm City, Glamour is going to do great, right? It's going to get all these toxic spikes and everything up, and it's going to be easy wins. So we'll have to see if PSG is going there. But yeah, moving on, we got the Phoenix Primals, Kevin's team. So they dropped a couple of their C tier Zangoose and Spidops. Sorry, I don't know why the picture isn't going. I'll have to have Andrew take a look at that. But Zangoose and Spidops, and picked up the Psychic Oricorio and Squawkabilly. Julian, what do you think about Kevin's moves here for the Primals?
I really haven't looked at this team all that much. I do know that Squawkabilly was something that I was looking at, so I do like
Me too.
Squawkabilly.
Everyone was messaging me about Squawkabilly. I tell you, like 5 teams. Like, what do you think about Squawkabilly?
Squawkabilly is very solid. I don't know anything about the Oricorias at all. I don't know. I know they have like the Revelation stance, I
Yeah.
believe.
They get Quiver Dance now too, which is kind of nice.
Oh yeah,
It's a new thing they get this gen, so it can set up a little bit with Quiver Dance and then get off some attacks.
Yeah, I'd like to see how it goes, I guess, in the future.
Yeah. Surprised Spidops got dropped.
I was about to say that. Yeah, Spider seems good despite being,
Yeah.
the laugh at, haha, funny, very, very bad stats
Yeah.
Pokemon, but like Sticky Web.
Yeah, Sticky Web. Well, Cricketune also gets Sticky Web, and no one picked that Pokemon, so But
True.
yeah, we'll have to see how this works out. But as we said last season, Phoenix started off 0-1 and then won all their matches up until the semifinals. So could be seeing that again. Pittsburgh Poltergeist, perhaps one of the more shocking teams starting off 0-2 here, but they are not making any moves right now. Vlad, what do you think about Pittsburgh? On paper, their team looks good. Is it good enough to pull them out of this 0-2, or should they be looking for some changes?
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm looking to make them 0-3 after this week.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
Yeah.
You do it.
So they may want to try to start changes for next week because they're not going to come out of this with a win.
There you go. Hey, I like it. Got to be confident, and I'm, always happy to. I don't know what I'm saying here, but I don't mind beating
In all
Anthony.
seriousness,
I think
in all seriousness, they have a very good
no?
team.
What's that, Dave?
I just think a lot of their Pokemon are just so like Masquerain is probably, in my opinion, like the best C tier.
Yeah, it was definitely strong. I was looking at it like when I was on the wheel in the draft, like, ooh, should I be getting Masquerain?
Yeah,
But
he was gonna be my number one choice if it got to that point. But
Yeah.
like, I think
Mhm.
Anthony picked him like second pick or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he picked him early.
Uh, I think he's trying to trade away Hariyama, which I think is like the only
Listen,
particular weak point.
I tell you,
Hmm.
when I was doing my testing up against his team, I thought he was going to bring Hariyama over Serena.
Hmm.
And Hariyama behind a sub like Earthworm, get Hariyama in, Belly Drum with like Bullet Punch and Drain Punch, like that was scary for my team. And when he didn't bring it, I was like, thank God. I can
I didn't know it
win
get
this a lot
bullet
easier.
punch. Huh.
Yep, it can get Bullet Punch. Like specifically Terra Steel type Bullet Punch was what
Hmm.
would wreck through me after a Belly Drum. But anyway, we'll have to see. Yeah, Vlad, 0-3. I like the sound of that. All right, here's your team, Dave. You're standing pat. You offered your entire C tier for trade, but didn't
I
no takers there.
well, I just during the draft, I think 3 chlorophyll Pokemon were chosen like in the 4 picks
Yeah,
before I was about to choose mine. So I wasn't too thrilled with Sawsbuck, but
right.
you know, he still works.
Gets
Dash
Horn Leech,
Bone
which
is
is
like a bit.
nice.
Was that?
I believe it gets Horn Leech, right, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised by Electrode. I just picked him up because I was like, I should probably have an electric type, but he is a lot more utility focused than I thought he'd be. He's very helpful. That
Yeah.
huge speed is great. Um, it helped a lot in my match against Waco, and yeah, he's cool. I think honestly, after 3 seasons, or 3 seasons, 3 matches, I'm a lot more impressed with my team than I initially was. I'm just worried about my like defensive coverage.
Yeah.
That's all. Like the rock and grounds and whatnot.
I hear you. I hear you. So, see how things settle. Maybe some people drop some stuff or want to make more change to their teams
Hmm.
later on. All right. So, Juliana, you got your team here, Seattle Shining Sylveons. You made that trade for Altaria, dropping Murkrow. What was your thoughts behind that trade, and how do you feel about it in your team makeup?
Honestly, I'm just experimenting a little. I am fairly new at the competitive side of Pokemon, so I'm still experimenting a lot with team synergy. I like my team. I just
Hmm.
thought Murkrow wouldn't be useful for me, I guess. I couldn't see
Mm.
myself really bringing it in any matches. I like the defense on Altaria. It still gets Tailwind if I really want to.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I like Altaria better.
Yeah, and you have plenty of ice switch-ins too, which is its biggest weakness. So, not
Yeah.
really too worried about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always like Altaria because you can go attack, you can go special attack, you can go bulky. It gets all these different coverage moves. It gets good, like you brought up Tailwind, but it gets Defog, it gets Roost, it gets Haze, it gets all these great utility moves and everything. So it can do a lot. So I'm excited to see how you play around with it because the more versatile Pokemon is, the better it is in Draft League. You don't want your opponent to get comfortable with what sets you're going to be bringing week to week. Next up, we got the Simiwini Seers, currently our top performing team here. They made a couple of free agent moves, dropping Magneton, picking up Houndstone. Again, do remember Last Respects is banned in our league, but you can definitely still run Fluffy. You could still run Sand Rush too if you're on a Sand team, but you don't have a lot of like ghost moves with that. And dropping Sudowoodo and picking up Vespiquen, who is despite his 4 times rock weakness, is a relatively bulky Pokemon that gets access to spikes and toxic spikes, so it's a decent hazard setter. Vlad, what do you think about these moves for the Seers? One of the few 2-0 teams that is actually making moves too, so they're not happy
Yeah.
with their position even at the top.
I mean, that's fair. I think that the Magneton for Houndstone is definitely a good choice. Um, Houndstone, even without last respects, is still a pretty fantastic Pokemon in general. Um,
Yeah, I can do some
Vespiquen,
utility stuff for sure.
yeah. Vespiquen, there's a lot of strong rock types just kind of scattered all over the league. So I'm not sure how often they're going to be bringing it in, but in the right place, I think that they could do a lot with Vespiquen, especially defensively.
Yeah, for sure. It gets Roost, gets U-turn, so you could, if you want to do boots that way, or if you just want to have it be Focus Sash lead and try and get up. I mean, it's slow, so maybe Focus Sash isn't necessarily the way to go, but definitely can do quite a bit there. All right, Tokyo Togekiss. So we kind of allude to all the moves they made, but they made the most moves here for the start of free agency. So they made a trade with Lavender Town. They added Lucario and traded away Sylveon. Then they picked up 3 free agents here. They got Blissey, Mudsdale, and Basculin Red Stripe. So, Dave, what are your thoughts on this? This is a totally different team than what they drafted.
Well, I think if certain teams don't like start swapping their like composition around more, Blissey is gonna eat some of these teams because I know that like some of the teams I'm looking at are very special heavy, and it's just gonna have a field day with them. Mudsdale was something I was considering before I saw that Crocodile was still like available during the draft. But
Yeah.
if you need a ground
Mudsdale's
type, he's
very
definitely
solid.
a solid one to pick up. Yeah.
Yeah. Very bulky defensive Pokemon, solid rock setter.
Yeah.
Good attack stat too. You don't have to invest too much into it for those earthquakes and heavy slams to be doing quite a bit. Julia, I know you're pretty close friends with Danielle of Tokyo Togekiss. Do you think she can turn it around here now?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like in past matches she wasn't giving it her all, but she seems like she's very headstrong in this and she wants to turn it around and make the switches necessary to get back into the top spot.
I gotta say that we're not doing like rankings for this team, but this team is way better. Just its composition, what it's got going on. It actually has some bulk now. It has type diversity, and I'm a big fan of Basculin too. For those who don't know, Basculin got access to Wave Crash this generation, which is the water type Flare Blitz, 120 base power with some recoil, but adaptability on Basculin. Slap a choice band on it, Terra type water, and that Wave Crash is gonna knock everybody out. All right, Vero Beach Volcarona, they made a couple changes here, dropping Primeape and picking up Talonflame, and dropping Slacking to pick up Bruxish. Vlad, what do you think? Vero 2-0 making a couple changes.
Talonflame, fantastic Pokemon, always has been. Ever since its release, it's been a fantastic mon. Bruxish, I have no idea. Absolutely no knowledge on this Pokemon whatsoever.
It's relatively fast and like has a decent attack stat, strong jaw, so you could see like Psychic Fangs, and I think it's like all the Fang moves basically except for Thunder Fang maybe. But
yeah, I see here Psychic Fangs, Crunch. Yeah. It's an interesting choice. Water Psychic is pretty nice as well. I'm excited to see what this is going to do ultimately, but I think he'll still stay up in the top contenders for sure.
All right.
He needs a. I was gonna say he needs like a poison or steel type. These fairies are gonna eat him up, I feel.
Yeah, still got quite a bit of fairy weakness because you don't want Talonflame to have to be your Moonblast switch in over and over again, but still has the Dunsparce, which is pretty bulky, but yeah. And lastly, we got the Waco Scissors here dropping Luminion for Pikachu. So I'll give a little behind the scenes here. Waco messaged me about Arctibax, mainly because he was just looking for like a physical attacker. And Arctibax, despite being a second stage evolution, has a decent attack stat, as well as priority and Ice Shard and other moves, Iso Crash, etc. Um, but I told him like, hey, Pikachu with a Light Ball is stronger than Arctibax with a Life Orb, and you're faster, and you have better coverage moves, and you can swap it between attack or special attack from week to week. Like if you're just looking for a straight offensive Pokemon, like that's what I told him. Dave, what are your thoughts on Pikachu?
I was considering Pikachu to swap for Electrode at one point, but I wanted to keep Electrode for like the utility he offered.
Yeah.
But I think is a great, especially over Lumineon, which I don't think does anything well, right?
I once beat a Kyogre with a Lumineon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl on Wi-Fi
That's
battles.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Not really. The Lumineon died like the second turn of the game, but I still beat that Kyogre team with my not legendary team, and Lumineon was the key.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a very. I feel like this team is gonna go to time a lot. Like,
With the Screamtail and Toxapex, yeah, they are
yeah.
bulky.
I mean, I respect it. I love my bulky teams,
Yeah.
but it does suck sometimes. It was a good fight. We had a good fight. Like very fun.
I'm sure the Screamtail appreciated your son as well to make it even bulkier.
Yeah, it's interesting that it gets those interactions that happen sometimes.
Vlad, did you want to add something to this before we move on?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned convincing someone to take Pikachu, because I'd actually convinced Kevin to take Pikachu in place of one of his C tier Pokemon before he picked up Squawkabilly
Really?
Squawkabilly. He picked up Squawkabilly because Pikachu was already taken.
Did he ask me about Pikachu, or did?
It was just theory crafting.
All right, so yeah, that's all the free agent moves. That is the league after the first 2 weeks. So now we're going to take a look at the minor leagues real quick, because we're already almost an hour into this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hop right into the tier list. We're just going to go in alphabetical order and just kind of be like, hey, what are our thoughts on this team? So we're going to start off with the Diamond Desert Dwellers. This is Chris's team, who unfortunately couldn't make it here tonight with us, so we wish him well. But Dave, you might like this team. He's got a Sun team, so why don't you tell me what you think of his Sun team, and maybe you can compare it to yours.
I think just from initially looking at it, the fact that he has a Paradox Pokemon, a A-tier Sun Abuser Charizard. They got 2 Chlorophyll users, 1 for more utility, 1 more like offensive. I think the Sun base is great. I think he could do well with like a ground type. He could do well with something either resisting or, well, I mean, he's got Leafing for resisting ground, sort of. But like,
an Earthquake is going to do nothing to Leafeon. It's so defensive.
Yeah, it's defensive. I think he's got a solid core. Like, I really wanted to get a Paradox. I wanted to also get.
If your team
what's
has
his name?
Screamtail,
Sandy
there's
Shocks.
that bulk you're talking about. Woof.
I was thinking of getting Sandy Shocks but any
good
Paradox Pokemon would have been cool. But they all got taken pretty quickly. I wanted Hatterene, so I picked them up pretty early.
Yeah.
But I think it looks great. It looks honestly pretty solid. Yeah.
All right, so let's rank that. I think Dave kind of went over it well. So Vlad, where would you put Diamond Desert Dwellers if we're doing some rankings here?
I mean, just with the overall synergy from most of the Pokemon that he's drafted, And then the priority with Sableye, I'd probably put him at a solid B tier, maybe low A.
Mhm. Dave, so do you think the same, Juliana? A, B?
Yeah, I think low A. I actually do enjoy their team.
Yeah, I think Dave's analysis was pretty spot on. Um, Also, keeping this in the context of the minor leagues for those who have been keeping track
Mhm.
of the society over 9 seasons. We we got to put our minor league goggles on here and look at it through a different lens. All right, next we got the El Paso Electros. So I actually drafted this team for no, actually I drafted half of it, and then Cole of the Driftveil City Dragapults drafted the other half of it because Tom couldn't make it for the draft here, but we see Iron Bundle, Rotom Heat, Orthworm, Electros, Lucario, Whiscash, Oricorio Sensu, which is the ghost one, and Flapple. Vlad, what do you think of this team?
Let's see. They should really utilize the Orthworm. It's a pretty solid Pokemon. Not, I mean, obviously not as great of a Shed Tail user as Cyclizar, but it's pretty bulky.
And sometimes a
Electros,
slow shed tail is more annoying, right?
yeah,
Because
because
like
it's
you
like
get up
you.
behind that sub instead of potentially having it broken when you come in or whatever.
Yeah, and that's definitely a lot more frustrating. The ground immunity with Electros.
3
You've
ground
got
immunities here. Rotom
yeah,
Heat, Orthworm with the Earth Eater, and Electros. Like, that's a lot of ground immunities. And
it is.
Oricorio, of course, too, just being a flying type.
Mm-hmm. I think that they've got a
Flap.
solid team.
Well, Flapple's Dragon Grass.
Oh, right. That's right.
Looks like it
Yeah,
should fly, though.
they really should.
It learns fly, but it does not fly.
Yeah, I think it's a solid team overall. Yeah.
All right, so pretty solid analysis, Vlad. So, Julian, based on Vlad's analysis, where would you put El Paso? They got Iron Bundle just like you do, so
Yeah, I am a lover of Iron Bundle. Um, I think it's pretty solid. I don't think
Need special bulk.
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Earthworm is gonna.
I feel
Mhm.
like
I mean, Rotom can be bulky. It has good defenses. You could run it max Spadef or something and be okay. Like you're not gonna recover, but
I feel like high B probably, I think.
B tier. All right, Dave. Do you concur that?
Yeah.
I mean, it has Iron Bundle, right? Which is kind of like what I was saying
Solid.
when we were doing the majors thing, and everyone was kind of crapping on the Simi Winnie Sears team. I was like, but it's got Palafin, and all of its other Pokemon counter things that would counter Palafin,
Mm.
and it has Palafin. So it's like this team has Iron Bundles. So all right, next we got the L.A. Kinglers, who unfortunately their younger brother threw their Switch down the stairs, so they were not able to battle in week 1. I do have confirmation they were able to get a new Switch and transfer everything over, so they'll be fine after this, but they had to forfeit their week 1 game. You know, little brother things, right, guys? Little brother things. But overall, Juliana, what do you think about the LA Kinglers and their team?
So just like a previous tier list I did, I don't know much about the Pokemon themselves as well. Of course, I like Altaria, Morgrim, Prankster. I actually wanted to pick that up in my draft,
Morgan
and
is very solid.
Mhm.
but their defensive coverage, I don't really like the fact they're flying. They only have like
A
really
lot of
one switch
flying
in for flying.
weakness.
Steel, fairy for sure
Mm,
is rough.
yep.
They don't even have a solid switch in for it, so I mean, could have some improvement for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this team's really offensive. But yeah, they definitely could do some more bulk, and yeah, maybe they gotta look into getting like a steel type or something, to cover for that fairy weakness. So Dave, where would you rank the LA Kinglers?
Uh, I think of the three we looked at, probably C. I
See,
agree. It's not like many of the types that would be super effective against them. They don't really have nice switch-ins like fairy and uh, uh, electric. They don't have any ground types that take up any
yeah,
electric attacks
Arbaleva's
or
like
anything.
your electric switcher,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Excalibur
True.
can
Actually,
too,
that's not bad. I
and
didn't even think
Raichu
about
has lightning rod. So
it.
I'm looking
Oh,
more like flying
okay. Never
because
mind.
even like a brave bird, Raichu's probably going to take like 30-40% from a brave bird from a strong user,
Yeah.
just because of
I
its
don't know.
poor defenses. But
Uh, uh, B or C?
what do you think, Vlad? Where would you put him?
If I put him in B tier, definitely going to be the bottom of B tier, but definitely the top of C tier as well. So I'd have to agree.
Hmm.
I'd say C tier for now.
C tier for now. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next we got the Mighty Psyducks, who actually got a forfeit win this week, due to some unfortunate circumstances. But Dave, what do you think about the Psyducks team here? They got Palafin, so I kind of already alluded to that with the Electros. Like, oh, you got Palafin, so I mean that's good.
I mean, just looking at the first five here, they're all really solid, I think. Like very solid choices. Especially the Paladin, of course.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of Hatterene as one using them myself. Uh, they have the ground immunity in Noivern. I think it's solid. You could use something that, well, Gengar resists grass. I I think so does Noivern.
Noivern is a double resist to grass too.
Yeah, I think it's very solid. You got
Needs bulk
Spidops
though,
for
right?
utility. I mean, Hatterene is sort of bulky,
Yeah,
uh,
Hatterene's bulky, but doesn't get the
but
recovery.
I mean, I think he could go far. He could probably use a little more bulk, like in his C tier or something like that. He does have a lot of. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of fast and hard hitting boys there,
Mm.
but I think maybe with a switch or two, he's coming out pretty high, especially with that Palafin. Like, come on.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought out fast and hard hitting because we look at the Spide Ups right there, and that's what I think. When I think
Yeah,
fast and
yeah.
hard
It's
hitting
very good. It's their best C
Spide Ups.
tier, I think.
Truly, truly. So Vlad, where would you slot the Mighty Psyducks in?
You're muted.
Uh, uh, Psyducks. They've got a lot of really strong Pokemon here, and I do like their team so far. I'd have to say, uh, definitely high B. If not, I actually kind of want to put them in the A tier, honestly. Just because they got so many threats and resistances going on all over the place. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the A tier.
A, like behind Desert Dwellers?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Juliana? Do you echo that? Do you think they deserve to be down in B or?
Um, I could see them. I mean, I do like their team a lot. I feel like I think you did mention something about a little bit more bulk.
Hmm.
So, if it's gonna be A, probably low A.
Yeah. And they're only I mean, if they bring Sprite Ops, they could do like sticky webs and maybe spikes, but Sandy Shocks is their only like reliable like rock and spike setter,
Yeah.
which is like then you're giving up a good like offensive slot for your Sandy Shocks, but like it can be done, you know. So, some people even run like Scarf Sandy Shocks with rocks and just get the rocks up and then switch out. So not that it's impossible. All right, next we got the New York Yankees Breloom, Rotom Wash, Arcanine, Tinkaton, Primeape, Skuntank, Clawitzer, and Dugtrio rounding it out. Vlad, what do you think about the Mankeys here?
Oof.
Let's see here. I mean,
Start
they've
off
got
right
they've
away.
got some very
Grass, Water, Fire. So
yeah. They made the first trio pretty easily. And honestly, all three of them are fantastic Pokemon. Technician Breloom has always been pretty fantastic. Rotom Wash has even way back in the day. Rotom Wash was always a really strong Pokemon to try and go up against. I think it lost Scald along with most other water types as well.
well, Rotom's water attack has always only been Hydro Pump. It never had access to Scald.
Right.
The main thing Rotom lost is Defog and Pain Split.
Yeah.
So kind of
Yeah.
like the bulkier sets are
Bulkier sets.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
weaker. Most bulky sets now run Will-O-Wisp and Protect. So you're usually looking at Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp, Protect with leftovers. But
Yeah, which is still pretty good regardless.
yeah. I mean, you're a really good typing, ground immunity. So.
Yeah. And then just the overall flexibility kind of allows them to fit themselves in any battle, especially in weather wars. They're always going to be in a good position regardless of where they end up in. The only Pokemon that I'm kind of iffy about is Skuntank, but beyond that, I think I've never been a fan of Skuntank
I'd
personally.
rather drop Clawitzer. Clawitzer on here? I'm like, man, what's that gonna do? At least Skuntank, I can be like, okay, it can at least do something. Can absorb some T-spikes. Charm City. All right, so Julian, where would you put the Mankeys?
Okay, sorry. I mean, I like their Pokemon, but I don't see, I guess, the synergy as well. Maybe that's just me.
No, I can kind of agree with that a little bit. I hear you. I think their top three are all really good. And I like Tinkaton. I think Tinkaton, like you can use it as a support Pokemon. You can also, with Swords Dance, it can be pretty threatening. It has a good speed tier as well, and Fairy Steel is a good typing. And Dugtrio is a fast ground type, which is nice. But yeah, like you said, kind of like the synergy is like they're all good Pokemon, which is fine.
Yeah, I would probably put them. Can you go back to the tier list real quick?
Yeah. To the tier list.
Probably B tier for me. I feel like synergy is really important in a team. Like you can have a whole team of really good Pokemon, but if they don't work well together, then what's the point?
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Dave? Do you echo that?
I'd probably put them in A. I think there's synergy just in that like their top like three Pokemon are like the base core that works so well together.
Right.
I think Tinkaton is very good for a B tier Pokemon. Amazing typing, amazing utility, and can go offensive if needed. And with an Arcanine there, usually you're going to take out Tinkaton with like fire. You have Flash Fire if and Breloom as well. You have Flash Flyer in case any fire attacks come at you. I don't really know what Primeape does all that much besides like be like their fighting source. I know it gets like Rage Fist, which will be good-ish, but without the ghost typing, it really hinders Primeape a lot, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I just think
definitely
those
known that.
first four Pokemon are just so solid in themselves that they're gonna go far with them.
All right, I hear what you're saying. I think I'm gonna just put them at the top of the B just because of how the tier list is right now. But we could see them moving up to A. I think, depending how the last 5 teams kind of shake out. All
If
right, next we
anything,
got.
they need more
Hmm?
more to fight ground. Ground's the only thing that's really gonna hurt them that much.
Ground, you
I
got
think they only.
Brelam and
Oh, I
Rotom.
forgot about
What more
Rotom
do you
Wash.
need?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I forgot Rotom Wash levitates.
I forgot the Pokemon.
That's true.
All right. Next up, we got the Palantown Pikachu. We didn't get to see a game from them in week 1, but Julian, what are your thoughts on their team?
Um, as always, I'm a stickler for defensive coverage. The ice, bug, fairy, a little weak in that aspect.
Mm.
I of course love Espathra. It's one of my favorites. But I feel like and Crocodile's really good too. I also like Sylveon. It's again one of those things like these Pokemon are
Yeah,
good on their
individually you like
own,
them, but how do they all
but together
mesh
it's
together?
just when I was in minor leagues, I wasn't very good at switching in Pokemon though, so I try to keep that in mind. But they could probably easily get wiped out by like an iron bundle or something where their ice weakness is lacking. And I feel like there's probably better S tiers than Meowscarada. I don't know what else they have left, but
Yeah. Oh, there was plenty left.
True.
It's only 10 teams in the minors. You can
yeah.
pick almost anything, but
Fairy eats his team too.
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any steel or
The
poison or
wild card
anything.
is a Spothra, right? If you have a team and you go up against a Spothra and you're not prepared for it, it'll just 6-0 you. Like
Yep.
that's just what a Spothra does. Like, oh, are you ready for a Spothra? No, then I win. Oh, you're ready for a Spothra? Okay, then we have to play a game. But a Spothra is always a wild card. Like, teams gotta be prepared for that. Meowscarada, like, just really fast. It's a good choice band or choice scarfer. Haxorus, again, another good either choice band or choice scarfer. Even Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, Life Orb, really strong. Crocodile, kind of helps them out with Intimidate, but you could also do like a Moxie set. Sylveon gives them Special Bulk and Wish. They could have some better physical bulk, but maybe you go Spiritomb with physical bulk and Will-O-Wisp. And then you got Pyro and Pikachu, which are, it's C tier, but like I see like, okay, these 6, right, is kind of like the team, the 5 on the left, and then Spiritomb. But I do see like, okay, Fairy 1, 2, 3, 4, right, kills those 4. Ice 1, 2, 3 can do a lot to all these guys. Bug 1, 2, 3, so. Is what it is. Dave, where would you put the Pikachus?
Oh, put them in C.
Put them in C, like higher than LA, or?
I kind of forget what LA looked like, but I'd say it higher than LA. Yeah.
What do you think, Vlad? Do you concur with that?
I would actually say lower than LA. I'd almost say D tier. The game that they're going to be currently playing is letting things die, making their differential super, super low, because nothing's going to be able to take a hit anywhere near as effectively as other things are.
Right.
Especially when you have multiple weaknesses. They might want to consider some trades moving forward, but yeah, I'd argue my argument is for D tier at the moment.
I don't mind slapping one team in D tier for now and seeing how it all shakes out. So, all right, next we got the St. Paul Cleavors. They had an unfortunate circumstance, so they had to forfeit their week 1 game. So, I wish them the best, but moving forward, they will be making their games, of course. So, Dave, what are your thoughts on the Cleavors?
I really like their C tiers, like all 3
Oh
of them.
yeah, they're
are really
some
good
threats.
C tiers for C. But I mean, Garchomp is a good S, I think, and you have nice, decent special bulk with Florges, but
Yeah.
I think the other three, uh, I mean, Mousehold, I get it. It's a very, if
I
you don't
hate
have
Mousehold.
anything
I'm just
for
gonna
it,
say it. Don't pick
I
Mousehold.
think it. I don't think it's.
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
I don't think it should be an A tier. Yeah, I
It's
don't
too
know.
good to be
It's
B just because Population Bomb is that strong. But
yeah,
when
it's
people
so easy
know you
to
have
play around.
Mousehold, they can beat it.
Mm.
Like it's one of those Pokemon that the surprise factor's out the window. Like,
I
okay,
get it too though because it's cute and I kind of want
yeah.
to use it too.
If your opponent doesn't have a steel type and they don't bring Rocky Helmet, then Mousehold's gonna win. But if they have a steel type or whatever, then
Yeah.
it's probably not gonna win. Not gonna do anything. Vlad, where would you put the Cleavors? They got
Um,
plenty of hazard control, right? Or at least
yeah, they
stacking the
really,
hazards. I mean, Serena's like their best rabbit spinner. Mousehold with Tidy Up, but
right. I think with just their C tiers alone, they've got a really they've got fantastic ways to set up on people. Garchomp is a fantastic Pokemon all around. It deserves to be an S tier as it has been since the beginning of time. Mousehold, I agree with you that it's a gimmick with Population Bomb. Outside of that, it kind of loses its strengths. Um, I'd I'd be comfortable putting it in C tier.
yeah, I think if you
I,
drop the Mousehold for like Slowbro, get some physical bulk, you'll be looking a lot better.
oh yeah,
Where were you gonna say above or below LA?
above LA for sure.
All right. And what do you think, Juliana? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. I did try to help her a little bit with the drafting process, but she was a little set in her ways. But I mean, I fought against her as like practice, and she has the ability to do it. So I feel like C is pretty solid.
All right. Next, we got the Sin City Squirtles. Garganackle, Magnezone, Toedscruel, Flamigo, Vaporeon, Slacking, Duckspun, and Camerupt. Vlad, what do you think about the Squirtles here?
They didn't actually bring their S and A tier into their first game.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty surprising.
What really?
The result mirrored that though, right? So
Right. What I mean, once they figure out Garganackle and Magnezone and what their roles are going to be, I think that any combination with those two included is going to make for a solid team to go up against. It's scary. It's got a lot of defensive bulk. I think overall it's a very good team. They just got to figure out which way they're going to run that Garganackle and that Magnezone. In all honesty,
we kind of mentioned it with Waco with Toxapex and Screamtail, but this is another team that could definitely see some time issues with Garganackle, Vaporeon, even Dockspun. Lot of like defensive Pokemon here. Yeah, I mean Garganackle's good.
Yeah.
In real competitive, it's arguably like a top 5 Pokemon. In Draft League, I'm not so sure because it kind of has only like 2 sets right now, but which is either just Salt Cure and Heal or Iron Defense Body Press. But Julian, where would you put the Squirtles? What do you think about their team? Got some good utility with Toedscruel. Got a decent attacker in Flamigo. I wouldn't say Flamigo's like the best offensive threat. It's probably what this team needs is more offense. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of lacking offense.
I feel like they could definitely make some switches in my eyes. Maybe high C for me.
And
Maybe
what do
low
you think,
B.
Dave? Do you think C, B,
I put him B.
B?
I think
Low B?
either B or the highest C. Uh, uh, I think it's B though, like low B.
All right.
Maybe not even low B. I think it's just like a solid middle B.
Oh, solid middle B.
But that's just me.
I mean, I like their defensive Pokemon. I just feel like
I think it's
What do
something
you
that
guys
with
think?
like one uh, trade or swap or whatever,
Yeah.
you got like you got A tier, S tier team.
Ooh. We haven't done an S tier yet, which we need to do because I don't like not having an S tier.
Or we got
Uh,
two left. You think they're gonna be?
no. All right, Slateport Sableye here. Skeledirge, Cloyster, Gyarados. Definitely some threats there. Gardevoir, Zoroark, Luxray, Mabostiff, and Lycanroc Midnight. Julian, what are your thoughts on this team? What do you see looking at them?
Um, rock weakness.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely got a few of those.
Like every
yeah.
team has a rock weakness. It's crazy.
Well, they don't really have any switch-ins. Like, if someone got hazards up on their side, they would be taking damage on every single one of them.
Hmm. Yeah, did
Um,
they have anything to get rid of them?
yeah, I don't
No.
see
Does
any.
Cloyster get spin?
Oh, it
I'm not sure.
might.
Cloyster might get rapid spin. But yeah, continue, Julian.
Um, I don't know. It's another one of those cases. It's like I feel like in the minors you kind of just pick the Pokemon you like rather than looking at what the team can do together,
Oh yeah.
which is always fun. I
Hmm.
do miss that aspect of the minors. But
Now you're serious.
yeah, now I'm
Now
in
there's
the
pride on
big
the
leagues.
line.
I do like Zoroark though. Zoroark can be pretty tricky,
Cheeky,
and
cheeky
Gardevoir,
Pokemon.
yeah. But I don't like. I don't know. Does Cloyster get
No,
spin?
no. So
No, it does not.
no, they don't have a way to remove rocks once they're up.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can outlast their team, like you can pretty much just let rocks whittle down their team, and
Yeah, and it's not like other than like okay, yeah, you get a Shell Smash off with Cloyster or Dragon Dance Gyarados. There's not like really instant offensive threats that you're like, oh, I gotta switch out like right now and everything. And typically like what's in front of you, you should be able to deal with if you bring the proper team. Also, no ground type, which hurts both Gyarados and Cloyster because that just means your opponent can load up on electric attacks and
Yeah.
not worry about that. So Dave, where would you slap the Slateport Sableye here? I do like Skeledirge. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
solid like Fire Ghost is a good type. It gets unaware,
Gyarados is a
slack
great B
off.
pick, I
So it's a
think.
solid S tier. But I mean, all S tiers are solid.
I think
So
it's like a high C. Uh, yeah.
I see. What do you think, Vlad? Where would you put him?
I'd have to say probably bottom of B.
Bottom B.
Uh, Bottom B. Yeah,
That works.
they are going to want to try and pick up a rapid spinner sometime soon. Um, but other than that, they won't run into the issue of time nearly as often, which is nice, even on the defensive side of things. But I
I
think
like
overall they still got a
Espeon.
solid team. Espeon would be a great pick for this team. Absolutely.
I wonder if there a ground type rapid spin or defogger. Can't think of one off the top of my head.
Elephants. Donphan and
Oh yeah, Domfan. Yeah, Domfan and B
yeah.
would be nice. Like I'd drop Zoroark for that. The elephants,
Although
they're
I think someone else
pachyderms,
has
Dave.
Donphan.
Dave, they are pachyderms.
Yeah.
All right, last we got the Tuscaloosa Talonflames, Chi-Yu, Hydreigon. So a couple dark types there, but also huge offensive threats. Tauros Aqua, so the Water Tauros, Bronzong, Lokix. So we got quite a few dark types already, but Braviary, Zangoose, and Floatzel. So whose turn is it next? Oh, Dave, it's your turn. What do you think of this team?
Gotta
Your
do
thoughts?
something about the fairies. I know you got Bronzong, but a lot of fairies no mystical fire. I don't know. It's it's okay. It's Chiyu's obviously Chiyu and Hydreigon, big threats.
Mm,
And Tauros.
yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. It's and low kicks. It's
They got definitely
it.
good offensive Pokemon. Like
Yes,
Chi-Yu and
yes.
Hydreigon cover your special attacks. Tauros and low kicks cover that. Bronzong's bulky, gets
Could go
screens,
either way.
etc.
Yeah.
You know.
I I think it's one of the like in top 50% of the teams we've looked at in the minors here.
I mean,
Um,
it's my mascot, I know, but I like Braviary too with
I
its
I think
temper.
Braviary is an amazing C tier.
Mm,
I'm surprised it's C tier, period.
mm.
Would think it'd be B, but I know you like have your opinions about Braviary. Um, I think it's solid. I just want to do something about fairies because fairies are
Yeah,
so integral, I guess.
yeah, I hear you. I don't know what's still kind of kicking around in C tier. Maybe they could get rid of Zangoose because I feel like Floatzel is just a better Zangoose. But again, Floatzel kind of does the same thing I talked about Basculin is you just Terra type water and wave crash and do huge damage. All right, so Vlad, where would you put the Talonflames?
I would definitely put them in A tier. Overall, they've got a good team. They definitely want to look at trading out that Zangoose though, because I don't see it doing as much as they maybe want it to. If there's any fairy types left in C tier, if there are any at all, they'll definitely want to try and trade that out for maybe a steel type or a fairy type there.
Yeah, Muck is still available. I like Muck.
Muck is a great choice.
Yeah. All right, so A, where in A do you like them, Vlad?
I think right in the middle of A.
Yeah. All right, Julian, do you agree with that?
Um, kind of. I feel like maybe if we are gonna put it in A, low A, I don't think we really talked about the fighting weakness.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
Mankeys were better than this team personally.
Yeah.
Are you like the Mankeys better than this team?
I
I,
don't
I
know.
was I was going for B, honestly. I don't like
Mm.
the weaknesses all that much. Like,
So you guys would prefer something like that?
yeah.
That's my vote.
What were you think about that, Vlad?
I mean, I can see the argument for it. I don't disagree with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see like Mach Punch could do quite a bit. I mean, but you do got Bronzong and Tauros. Like a lot of fighting types aren't gonna outspeed these two to do enough, unless they're Scarf, of course. But I can see that. I do think it has a lot of overlapping
Much dark.
defensive weakness. Like this is a team that's just trying to get its Pokemon in and get KOs, right? It's like you got Chi, you got
Mhm.
Hydreigon, you got low kicks, which is just priority the Pokemon. Um, but yeah, I can agree with that. So since I said we gotta have an S tier, we're gonna move our
Oh yeah,
top A tier up to S, just because there's gotta be a top dog.
thy
I,
sweet symmetry.
yep, I do believe that. So maybe we'll close this out. I don't know if people want us to talk about the beef, but I don't think that. Where's the beef? My beef was in her podcast with the Simi Winnie Sears. She said that I was a quote good coach, and I take offense to that because I'm not a good coach. I'm not a
Oh,
great coach.
you're
I'm the
great coach.
fucking best to ever fucking do it,
Okay.
coach. What were you gonna say, Dave?
Okay.
Do you question that?
You're the biggest head coach.
I am the biggest head coach. That's right. And I got the biggest shelf with trophies coach. And everything to back it up. So they can all come at me. But I just wanna from now on when you address me, you gotta say the best to ever do it. Alright, Julian? That's the only way to make it up. Make it up to me.
All right, next time I message you, that's exactly how I'll refer
Poke
to you
the bear.
as.
No, next time you're I'm sure he'll get you on a podcast or something, and I want you to say, you know, son, yeah, his draft may have been a little weak, but he's the best to ever fucking do it,
Okay.
and he'll be there.
Will do. Will
At the
do.
end, he'll be there. Don't you worry.
Oh, you can prove it this weekend in your match with him, right?
Oh yeah, no. In my testing, I sweep him every time. It's actually pretty bad. Um, pretty bad. But yeah. So Vlad, any last words? Any thoughts on the tier list? Any thoughts on the first couple weeks of the majors?
I mean, season's still young. With all these shakeups going on, it's definitely going to get a lot more interesting for the majors and with the minor leagues. Have fun with it, you know, and maybe we'll see some of you guys in the majors next season.
What about you, Julian? Any words of wisdom for your former minor league counterparts? Only one season removed.
Just have fun.
There you
I
go.
know it's very serious, but I mean, you also have to have fun with your team. I feel like that's pretty important. Don't be a sore loser like me.
Dave, anything you want to close us out on?
I'm rooting for Desert Dwellers, for a fellow Sun
There you go.
user. Go get yourself a Flashfire Pokemon, or like I don't know.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
good.
hear what you're saying, because yeah, you don't want a opposing fire type to
Yeah,
start cooking
run
you.
amok.
Even like not like a water type, but I don't know. Even just like a decent fire
Immunity.
resist. Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Dockspun. I don't think anyone has Dockspun. Gets a
No,
real
someone
big
did.
body. Oh, was it? Oh yeah, you're right. Someone did have it. All right, but yep. As always, thanks for watching. Stay classy.